Dealing with negative people can be very tricky sometimes, and negative people are draining. In today's video, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do in order to deal with negative people sufficiently. Hi guys, my name is Yeva and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am a mindset and manifestation coach, and on this channel we talk about mindset, manifestation, personal development, self-love, spirituality, and so much more. And if you love this type of content, then make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel below. So, the first thing that we really do have to remind ourselves of is that everyone has their own life, everyone has their own lessons, and everyone has their own struggles in life. We have our own life, and they have their own life too. I have my own life, and that person has their life too. Understand that you are not one. That doesn't mean if someone is really negative that you have to be negative too in order to be a good sister or to be a good friend. It's not about taking the energy of that other person on to being your own. It's nothing to do with that. It's more to do with really showing compassion rather than empathy. And I have a great video on empathy, and I'm going to link that above, so check that out. But it really does come down to showing compassion, because if you show compassion, you're not going to be taking on that energy. You're not going to be draining yourself like you would if you would be really empathetic with that person. Everyone has their own feelings and their emotions that they decide to feel. Everyone has responsibility over their own state of emotion, right? And that's very important to understand. If someone decides to feel negative, that's their decision, and it doesn't really have a lot to do with you. You don't have to feel negative too. You still have the decision of feeling positive or negative, depending on you. But just because someone sees the situation negatively, it doesn't mean that you have to as well. I am a firm believer that everyone has their own life path, everyone has their own lessons, everyone has their own problems, and different ways in solving them. Okay, that's what I believe. There is no problem that does not have a solution. That's facts. We just tend to forget that, but that really is the truth. And so, if a person is faced with a difficulty, it's their job to get through it and learn from that situation, right? And if they feel negative or they want to complain about it, you show compassion. And by compassion, I mean you show understanding. It does not mean that you have to feel negative too, just by saying things like, I understand, and yeah, just being there for them is what it's actually more of. You're not going to be a bad friend if you're not crying there with them, if you're not, you know, living through the same emotions. No, you cannot do that. It's very damaging for your own self, because you might start thinking, okay, if my mom is upset and if I don't cry with her, then I'm a bad daughter. No, that's not the case. You show compassion, but you are responsible for how you feel. And you should never feel guilty for not feeling the same emotions or not wanting to feel the same way that the other person is feeling, right? And because it's very easy to take on negative emotions or fears from other people. And sisters especially do that, or brothers, or parents with their children, and so on. People who have a really deep connection take on the fears of other people, but it's not your fears, it's their thoughts, it's their fears, and it's their problems, you can show compassion, you can show understanding, and that's the responsible and good thing to do, right? And I don't mean compassion by like, oh, we'll talk about this later. No, compassion is key. It's really important being an active listener for that person as much as you can be and as much as you want to be, understanding what that person is going through, letting them vent in a way, even if you're comfortable with that. But you're not in charge of solving their problems, and you're not in charge of taking on the negativity or suffering with them, is what I truly want to say. We don't have to suffer with people who are close to us just because they are suffering. The same way as our sibling or our friend does not have to suffer with us because we're suffering. This is a really wrong stigma. Like, that's going around thinking that if I'm suffering, they have to suffer too. No, they don't. No. It's your problem, it's your situation, and people will help you get through it. But it's very irresponsible to make other people suffer so that you kind of feel better, right? It's not a good trait to have, and a lot of people do this, right? So that's what, and they do it subconsciously. They don't actually want, some of them don't want you to feel just like they do, but we naturally think we have to do it or else we're a bad person. And I'm here to tell you that that's not the case. We are not responsible for other people's happiness, especially when it comes to friendships, relationships, or even family members, right? We are not responsible for the happiness of others. We, however, are responsible for our own happiness, and we have to be a good person and be kind to other people and do show compassion, right? And when we're showing compassion, when we care about other people as much as we can in order for us to be safe too, that's fine. And that is enough, okay? So it's kind of like this. There's one person, for example, I have my own happiness. I have my own feelings. I have my own problems. I have my own issues. I have my own potential. There's one person with their feelings and their problems and their thoughts and their happiness. And that's why a person feels their own emotions primarily, right? And only if they're very connected to someone else will they start thinking that they feel other people's emotions too. But primarily, you're in charge of your own thoughts and your own emotions, right? And that's how it's supposed to be. A person alone is in charge for their happiness. Of course, when you're a child and you have parents, then yeah, your parents are in a way responsible for your happiness. But when you are a grown up and you're a good person and sending out good vibes, you're not responsible for the emotional reaction that a person is going to give off if you're not even doing anything wrong. So if you're living your life and a person in your family is just still not happy, it's not your problem. It's their responsibility to be happy. If you like my YouTube video so far, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel below and also hit the bell button to be notified whenever I upload a brand new video. When you start understanding that you are responsible for yourself and you're responsible for making yourself happy, and when you understand that showing compassion is the way to go, but you understand, okay, they have their life, I have my life. Those are their thoughts, their fears, their problems, their happinesses. These are mine. Like, I have different ones. I have a different life purpose. I have a different lessons to be learned. Completely different life path, right? And when we understand that, an important and beautiful thing starts happening. we start feeling more harmony and more peace in our lives. And we have to constantly remind ourselves that you are your own person, right? And we only think that we have to suffer with someone else or else we'll feel guilty because maybe we're a people pleaser or something like that, or we've been conditioned to thinking that way, that we're only a good person if we suffer with others and if we feel their suffering. That's not the case. We're going to stress ourselves out, we're going to drain ourselves out, and there will be nothing to give, and that's not how we want to live. When you start noticing these things, you, as I said, will start having more balance, more harmony in your life. And you will notice that the drama is very often going on around you. Has maybe a little bit to do with you, but it's mostly going on around you, right? Drama starts when there's a fight, for example, going on, when there's misunderstandings, whatever it is the case. But when you notice that, again, as I said, you have your own life, they have their own life, and you show compassion, you're not responsible for their happiness, they're responsible for it themselves, but you're just nice to them and you're helping them, an interesting thing starts happening. We stop having expectations of other people making us happy. And when we stop having expectations, resentment doesn't exist that much anymore. For example, resentment builds when we have an expectation that is not met. And resentment is, I think, a main thing that kind of lights up drama. A person will be annoyed because an expectation has not been met, and drama will occur through maybe resentment, for example, of that person, right? And if you, however, understand you're not responsible for their actions, they're responsible and they have to live with their own actions, you kind of are in your own life. You're there for others, but you're not living for them, right? And when that happens, you start feeling so much more harmony in your life, so much more balance and so much more peace, because you also stop taking on the fear of other people, which is super unhealthy and also quite dangerous to do. And a lot of people do that naturally, right? That's how fear grows. A person starts having a fear because they pick it up from somewhere. They give it on to others. Most people are very big empaths. They take it on as their own. Then they live with that fear. And if they don't go through it or kind of like work through it, they manifest it into their lives, which means it does become a reality, right? That's why it's crucial to understand they have their stuff, I have mine. We're still connected, but not on a not in an energy draining type of way. You are a whole within yourself without other people. You don't need other people to make you feel whole. You are full within yourself. Other people are happily invited into your life as long as they will behave and be nice to you, right? And if there's someone important in your life, like a family member, a sibling, yeah, or just a really close friend that's not doing well and you want to be there for them, but they emotionally dump you, like they let everything out and they just disappear, and then you don't know what to do with your emotions, well, look at it as it's not your emotions, it's theirs, and this is a profound learning experience, and it goes on for a while. I think it does take some time to understand, especially for empaths, that someone's emotions and someone's situations are not yours. They're theirs, they're for them to unravel and unleash. And that's beautiful, and that's the way it's supposed to be. We're not here to not necessarily solve other people's problems, but we're not here to take on other people's problems as our own, because if we do that, we're not going to be able to help. Showing compassion and showing understanding and doing your best to help because you want to help and serve others is the best way to go. But it's against human nature in a way to literally take on the emotions of others because you're not going to be able to help them, because you're not going to have a neutral perspective on it or a third person perspective on it. And when you don't have that, you can't help people. So the best thing that you can do, as I said, is to listen, be an active listener. Let that person feel like they have trust in you. Let that person trust you. Help them in the best way that you possibly can from the knowledge that you have, and live your life and be there for them if you find it necessary and if you want to do that. But it's not about both of you being broken, because if both of you are broken, it's who's going to help you then? It's not going to help. There's no point in dwelling, in a situation that is not really yours. It can be really hard, especially when you love that person a lot and the emotion just overwhelms you, but you have to remind yourself that it's not going to be helpful if you dwell with them on that same level, right? It's not going to be helpful. Remember that there is always a solution for every problem, and as best as you can, don't kind of like be in a circle of negative people, because negative people and negative energy is very contagious, and it will bring you down if you spend too much time with people who are naturally negative. Naturally negative people are not a very good, person to be around, especially if you're an empath or if you're a person that is prone to take on the problems of others as your own, which a lot of people are. They just don't know it. Having a routine in your life and focusing your life on love, harmony, and peace is what's going to bring balance. And when you do the things that I mentioned in this video, you will start noticing that there might be drama going on around you, but it doesn't affect you, and that's okay. You're distancing yourself from your drama. You don't build drama. You don't put into drama, you don't add your own drama into more drama. And that's what it's all about. It's about concentrating on your peace, balance, and harmony, and living your best life. And if someone wants to talk to you or share their negativity and wants to vent, if you're comfortable with that, you can let them and you hear them out. And if you're not comfortable with that, you can just tell them, I'm not feeling very well. I'll get back to you on this tomorrow. But if you're not there yet, if you find it hard to set boundaries with negative people, then at least show compassion and don't wind yourself into the emotions that they're having. That's about it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed making this video for you. If you haven't already, then make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel below and hit the bell button to be notified whenever I upload a brand new video. Also, check out my Facebook group, my free Facebook group, the Heaven on Earth community. It's a small but growing community. I do lives in there frequently about these types of topics and more. Also, follow me on Instagram on Your Mind is Heaven. I'd absolutely love for you to reach out to me or follow me. If you like listening to podcasts, then have a listen to mine. It's called the Talks with Yeva podcast, where I talk a lot about fear, manifestation, and thoughts and thinking patterns on my podcast. make sure you give it a follow. You can find it on Spotify or Apple Podcast. And of course, everything that I have mentioned in this video, you can find all of the links in the description section below. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Let me know just how much you enjoyed the video in the comment section below. I absolutely love getting your feedback. It means the world to me. Thank you so much for subscribing and for watching, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye!